Raptors fall to the Chicago Bulls, 116-110. Welcome to Raptors Tonight, live from Real Sports. I'm Randy Irvin, joined by Savanna Hamilton, Alvin Williams, and Sherman Hamilton. Good crowd back there. I like that. There's people that know you, I think. First of all, I just want to say tonight was Pride Night at Scotiabank Arena, and before the show, we were gifted with a little treat from Craig's Cookies, a local business owned by a gay owner that started out on Church Street and exploded to 6 locations across Ontario. Great cookies. They're right here. Have you guys had them before?
I have not.
You have not?
I've had them once or twice.
Once or twice. I've had them about 14 times. They're unbelievable. I'm gonna get you to have one today. I know you're on a health kick right now. I like that. Let's break down the game, guys. Sure. When you watched that fourth quarter, what was the breakdown for the Raptors defensively in allowing Chicago to take it and finish it at the
beyond
end?
the game itself, I think these are the things that this group needs to go through. They need to go through these kind of reps, be put in these positions or put themselves in these positions, because that's where the growth is. That's where the development is of the young core. And, Scotty was great. He had some crucial turnovers late, but he was great. And I wouldn't have him play that fourth quarter without those turnovers, because I think that's where you kind of look back, and as a young player, you can say, these are the things I need to clean up in order to take that next step. But I mean, you look at a big picture, this is exactly the type of game that they're going to need moving forward. Games where it's on the line, good competition, and it's got to be a possession-by-possession game. I think the more of those they get, the more they're going to be, I think, involved in winning situations.
Yeah.
And to me, that's where the growth is.
I wanted to ask you about this. Scotty got pulled around 8 minutes or something to go in the fourth. Just sat for a minute or two. Is it hard to leave at that point of the game and come back in and still be as effective as you want to be?
No, I don't think so. I think if you look around the NBA, those are consistent substitution patterns, right? Like you take your go-to guy out, maybe have him start in the fourth quarter, take him out like 2 or 3 minutes and get him back in 7.5, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, or whatever around that time. So right there, you're engaged, right? And that's the time, and that's the structure as well. Like if it's called for you to come out the game because your energy levels or your performance is not there as far as the sports science, their measurements, then that's just what it is. But I think it's Scotty and those type of players, man, whenever they get in the game, they're going to be productive no matter what.
Yeah, Sav, when I was watching the first quarter especially, I thought, size was obviously an issue. You really notice the lack of Pirtle down low in dealing with Vucevic. How do you think they mitigated playing without their primary big against?
Well, I feel like, just not even just this game. If you look at the sample size of games since Jakob has been out, they've been struggling. Like points in the paint has been an area of focus, especially coming out of halftime or even going into the half. He provides that sense of rim protection, but then also that offensive presence to know you can run pick and roll actions. But I mean, give it to Thad. Thad's been really effective in that role as well. But you definitely feel it on nights like tonight where, teams have a traditional center and it's really hard to contest that in a physicality sense down low. So, his presence is definitely missed by the Raptors.
Is there anything else you think they can do to kind of offset that, size difference? When Thad's down, like Thad's battling, Scotty's battling too.
Yeah, but I don't even think that was the biggest issue. The points in the paint, Vucevic had some time down there, but this was really about being broken down off the dribble.
Yeah.
Constantly you saw Kobe White, you saw DeMar DeRozan, they just attacked. Zach LaVine went early in the game, they just continued to attack. Then when you balance it out by being able to throw the ball down there and having a big guy like Vucevic do what he does, it just accentuates the problem. But the perimeter defense struggled in terms of keeping the ball in front. And once you do that, I don't care how big your back line is, unless you've got a Dikembe Mutombo back there that's going to erase everything, you're going to compromise your back line, size notwithstanding.
How do you think they played DeRozan defensively with that being said, Al?
I thought they played him well. DeMar had a nice first half, 14 points, and then got to a point where I think he might have had 7 or 8 points in the second half. But DeMar is he's not the same DeMar when you're talking about trying to always attack. He's really thinking the game, he's dissecting the game, and he's getting to his spots. But he made big shots when needed. Then he got there and pump fake, got himself to the free throw line. So he made timely buckets, and he's just conserving a lot of his energy for when it's needed. So I think the Raptors did a nice job, but you're guarding DeMar DeRozan. He's going to get what he want to get.
And he's playing in Toronto, Sav. Do you think that his approach changes a little bit and he gets a little more fired up for games against the Raptors?
Well, I talked to DeMar this morning at shoot around, and the first question I asked him was, "Is your daughter here? Did you bring your daughter?" And he said no, and I said, I think the Raptors fans thank you for that one. But honestly, I feel like it's not just DeMar; it's a lot of former Raptors and also Canadians. I think if anything, Toronto is a place that can be, a team that can be tough to play because of the fact that you have all these guys who have their family and their friends and everybody who they know in the city. They're playing for them, and so it's a little extra motivation when they're going out there against the team. And I think you see that translate. And of course, they have great games and they light the Raptors up sometimes. So it's just what it is.
Al, when you went against former teams, did you feel that?
I didn't go against former teams.
Yeah.
I only had one, and I didn't really play much at that time. So they didn't care anyway. So. But no.
There's got to be a little extra juice there.
I mean, it's an excitement. Your first time going back, and I didn't have any ill wills or any ill feelings like going there. But going back to Portland the one time or two times after that, it's like, all right, I'm just trying to survive. Every team, it mattered.
Scotty Barnes, we talked about him early. When I watch him too, I just think he could be all defense, like the blocks, the steals, the positional defense. You feel like he's capable of that?
Well, when we think about players who are doing it offensively and defensively, the list gets really small.
Yeah.
And those are elite players at whatever position it is. There's no doubt Scotty has the ability and capabilities to be that. It's a question of how much energy is he going to exert on both sides of the ball. He's great offensively. He can be great defensively. When he locks in defensively, he's tough to score on. Yeah. He has a great sense of spacing when guys try to get to his body. He has great timing in terms of letting them release the ball. Then he goes and meets it. And that chase down block tonight was incredible after he turned it over. But offensively, and Alvin, you can speak to this more, when guys are expending that much energy on the offensive end, not just dumping the ball down and they get it and go to work. He's bringing the ball up. He's creating. He's scoring. He's a physical scorer as well. When you're exerting that much energy offensively, to try and give it up defensively as well, it becomes, you got to really be a determined player. And that, to me, is where the elite players separate themselves. You talk about a Kobe Bryant, a Michael Jordan, a Kawhi Leonard. Like, guys on that level give it up on both ends of the floor, and they are who they are because of that.
Yeah. Do you guys think that he has all defense capabilities when you watch him?
Yeah, I mean, I think he does. But, those awards and those accolades come with winning. A lot of times you got to win, and you got to be in those moments where you're being seen. And his rookie year, I compared him to Giannis, right? Because he did those things. He did multiple things. And defensively, he's a special player. He's somebody that's a good weak side defender. He has the ability to hustle. He wants to play defense. He wants to guard. It doesn't matter who he's guarding. He's guarding the best player, different positions. So I like his approach on the defensive side. Again, Scotty has, to Sherman's point, the capabilities of being a mega star. Yeah. That comes with winning, though. So depending on and he doesn't have much control over that. That's the team aspect. So a lot of times it upsets me when you talk about the greatness of players and you say, he didn't win a championship or whatever. There's so many other variables with that. But as an individual player, he has all the capabilities to be that type of guy.
Well, there were questions asked to Masai about whether he was ready, Sav, today. And I don't know, it felt like he looked ready.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I even asked Scotty that, after the game yesterday, I said, listen, you are the face of the franchise. What pressure does that come with? And he said that, he's felt like he has been, and the conversations that he's had amongst his team have been in that direction already. So he's ready for it. He's prepared. He said that, this is nothing new to him at this point. Yeah. I mean, if you look outside Scotiabank Arena, his face is literally there for an all-star campaign, right? And you just see it. I mean, you guys already touched on it in terms of his active play, and you know, you see possessions even in tonight's game where, you know, you say like, yeah, that's a franchise player right there. And something that Bruce Brown, like, you know, our newest addition, he told me, he said that he totally agrees that Scottie is a player worth building around, and he's happy to be playing off ball around him. So what does that tell you about a player when other players are saying, yeah, that's the guy you want to build your franchise around?
And
The one thing, too, like you heard Masai talk, you got to be patient. This kid's 22 years old. The face of a franchise, yeah, all right, but you want your franchise to be up here. You don't want to be the face of a franchise that us four are playing for. Like, whoa. I apologize. My bad, dog. Us three. Us three?
Yeah, don't do
Keep
that.
you on the side of my. But you know, but again, it's being patient. Because Sherman, you talk about it. He's going to have moments. You want to see him turn the ball over and how you respond after that. You want to see him take some losses. You want to see him have some good moments and wins. You want to see him sometimes in different situations and on and off the floor. So before, like, he's like crowned that guy, which we already know that's the direction. You have to let him have the growing pains because the pressure that he's going to face, he hasn't had that type of pressure before on this level. So it's a process, but he's more than capable, I believe. But we have to be patient, and the organization, they really have to support him as well because he's only 22 years old.
he certainly relishes the challenge, and that's, I mean, a good step one. All right, let's pause it there for now and welcome in our fan of the night. Please give a round of applause for JL. Come on in, Jay.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, man?
Okay.
How are you? Have a seat here if you want. You know these guys? Alvin Williams?
Yes, sir.
That's an NBA legend right there.
What's going on, boss? You all right?
That's a Canadian basketball legend right there.
How you doing, boss?
What's up, man?
Hey.
How you doing?
You got a question or comment for the crew here?
Yeah, I was wondering how you guys feel about the new acquisitions with Bruce Brown and the other two players we got, and the picks as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole deal, Bruce Brown included. I think it gives them flexibility. They're versatile now. And I also think that the ability to move and make some other moves alongside with these picks, you've got some decisions to make, you know, and it depends on where you're going in terms of how you want to improve this team, how quickly you want to do it, or is this more of a long-term process? But I like it because one thing you don't want to do is put yourself in a position where you can't make another move, even if you wanted to. They're not in that position, so I like what they've done.
I agree with Sherman. Like, you want to have the flexibility, especially when you're resetting or retooling. I know they don't like to use the word rebuilding and all that.
Resetting.
But yeah, resetting and just figuring it out. So I like the idea of them having the flexibility where they can make another move, or you can see what the young guys present and how you plug them in. Bruce Brown is somebody I believe that have value on the team, or he has value as an asset if you want to move. So it's one of the things I think the Raptors are in a good position moving forward.
Have any thoughts?
Yeah, no, and then, I mean, you guys already talked about the flexibility of what comes with a player like him, with a piece like him. But what I'm seeing from on the court itself, and this is something that Darko also pointed out, is just his off-ball movement and getting himself open. And especially, we saw it tonight. I mean, there's times where he was just really assertive, and he's bringing a championship caliber mentality to the team in his decisiveness. And so we saw him attacking the rim. We saw him not even hesitating to take open threes. And I think, you know, he's 27 years old. This core that they're focusing around is skewing towards that 22, 23, 24-ish age. I think it's great to have a guy that's on the older echelon of that, bringing that decisiveness to the team. And he's kind of, you know, from what we saw tonight, kind of a calm, I'd say overall calm player, like bringing some calm to the court, and I think you need that.
Yeah, don't ever underestimate championship pedigree. And that guy has it, you know, and he was an integral part of it. So anytime you have that in your locker room, as well as productively on the court to help these young guys, I think it's a positive thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of tough, you wanna spin for a prize over here? Let's do it, Jay. Let's do it. Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Good job,
Appreciate you coming on, man. All right, we got a couple of good prizes on here. We got a hoodie, we got a signed jersey, a basketball. So just give it a spin, and then you take a shot
Back
at
to my grub.
belt bag. You want to do another spin? Or you? Yeah, give it another spin
again.
What was it?
Belt bag again.
Belt bag.
Belt bag.
Hat jersey! I like that. I like that. You gotta shoot for it though. You gotta shoot for it. There's the line. You're gonna make it. It's a very forgiving.
Oh, he lefty.
Oh,
one more.
Hey, one more. We got you.
Lefty, I
You need an
see.
assist.
Light
Oh,
work. Light
Very
work.
good. I wasn't watching.
Light
All right,
work.
Let me get you that jersey. There you go. I think it's signed too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Give it. You want to give a shout out to anybody
left-hand shot?
at home?
I mean, I'm not a lefty, so I know, but like,
Everybody who sees
because
me
I
knows
can't
who
do
I
it,
am,
I
so they know what it
appreciate
is. Big old shout out to all the Toronto Raptors fans worldwide.
it's not that short of a distance.
Yeah.
It's a good
Big
distance.
hands
It's a
for
fair
Jay.
distance.
Thanks, Jay.
Blessings. Yeah, man, bless.
All right, fam. Nice meeting you, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Take care.
I like that. I like that. Giving a guy another chance.
That's a
It's about
jersey.
time,
Got
man.
his jersey.
You all rigged that wheel to give away belts
It's a
belt bags
It's a fanny pack.
and mugs and stuff. Like,
It's a good gift.
who wants to want a
Is
fanny
it
pack?
yours?
They can't all be winners. Like
You sound like the institution now. That's what
they
you
can't
sound
all
like.
be great prizes. You gotta have some like.
They are great prizes.
No, they are great
They are
prizes.
great
You're
prizes.
right,
What are you
you're right.
talking about? This guy.
What are you talking
You
about?
talking about?
Everything has value.
That's right. I like that.
Some more than others.
Let's get a little bit more into Bruce Brown because you mentioned Darko knowing about his cutting and all that stuff. He actually said in his pregame interview, you guys were all there, or his pregame presser, that he did a deep dive into the play of Bruce Brown, trying to uncover, the way he cuts and the way he can manipulate advantages off the ball. I mean, nobody knows him better than Darko.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, even because Darko was asked, how much do you know about these guys? And, that was the first thing he dove into. Like, well, I did a deep dive analysis, and he was #1 in the league for off-ball, like, cutting and scoring off ball, basically.
Yeah.
And so that definitely stood out. I brought it up to Bruce, and I said, and he even knew his own stat. He's like, yeah, I was #1, right? And I was like, yes, you were. And he said that he really picked it up when he was playing in Brooklyn. And he was playing along some big-time stars there, and he had to be, because what are you going to do? Take the ball away from Kevin Durant or whoever else you were playing with at the time? Like, probably not.
Kyrie,
so he
Dame.
found his way. Yeah, exactly. He found his way through navigating Brooklyn, and that's the space that he carved out, and that's what we're probably going to see with the Raptors.
Yeah. And
Sound like they gave my man Darko some busy work over there. Hey man, go over there and look at this film and see who moves the most without the ball.
tough assignment.
And when we want your opinion, we'll give it to you.
I want to ask though, like obviously he's not just a cutter. They used him in the pick and roll with Scotty late in the game, and they're effective. How is a guy that size able to score down low amongst the bigs?
If you set good screens, you're probably going to be the recipient of some good looks. And as Savanna said, when he played in Brooklyn, he was playing the 4. He was setting screens for Kevin Durant, for Kyrie Irving. He was setting screens for James Harden. He was the pick and roll guy. And he got a lot of buckets because those guys attracted so much attention when they came off the screen with the ball. He was rolling naked to the basket, wide open. So he understands that he's going to set a screen. He's not going to go up and slip it. He's going to set it. And once you hit people, it changes the whole dynamic of how they defend it. And he's also a guy who's not afraid to play against bigger bodies because that's how he's had to play his time in the NBA.
But it's still pretty impressive to be able to score down there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
He's not the biggest dude.
That's what I noticed when he was in Brooklyn, setting screens, rolling to the basket, as Sherman said, catching it in traffic, finishing at the rim.
Yeah.
And then when he got to Denver, I'm like, oh wow, this kid then worked on his jump shot.
Yep.
So I'm not even sure if he had the jump shot, but his role in Brooklyn was just something different. Now in Denver, now he's showing his complete game. And again, on that defensive end, he had some good moments where he was guarding DeMar, he was guarding Zach LaVine. Like he was doing his thing defensively as well. And again, he played all 12 minutes. Only player that played the entire fourth quarter, right? This is his first game with the new team. So that just shows his value and the respect that the coaches have for him to keep him in the game.
Yeah. Vince was in the building today. It was nice to see him and see you reminisce with him. But for us, I'll get to you in a second. But Sav, when you think about Vince and his play in Toronto, you're probably too young. You're the young
Whoa! Okay,
us
I
old
see how it is. right.
No, but just what stood out to you about his play, and do you have any like favorite Vince moments?
Half man, half amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like you're right. I was super young when he was playing, but what stands out to me is his explosiveness and just the leader that he was in the court. And honestly, like, you know, he put Toronto on the map.
Yeah.
And so I honestly, when you think about like a certain play that stands out, I just think about the dunk contest. Like that's honestly the first thing that comes to mind with Vince Carter. But just the impact and the legacy that he has left in Toronto, it just speaks volumes because, you know, we talk about the Carter effect and going down that lane. We can go down that lane all day, but it just a matter of his leadership, setting a culture that wasn't even established, it felt like maybe at the time, to, you know, his explosiveness on the court, getting downhill, pulling up at any point in time. He has just like had the utmost versatility, and that really stood out to me. And just even going back and watching his highlights now.
Yeah. Sherman,
Well, I was not very young when Vince was there. I was old. And I was actually playing overseas at the time when he got here. And I just remember, you know, being 6-7 hours ahead, watching NBA action, and Vince would have anywhere from 2 to 4 of the top 10 plays of the week most of the time.
Yeah.
Because he was doing things that we were just kind of baffled by. And to the dunk off, I mean, this is kind of like when Jordan was in the league, no one else could win a championship.
Yeah.
Everybody in that dunk off was just born at the wrong time. Because there were some good dunks in that dunk off, but he single-handedly revived the dunk off with what he did. And I remember he put his arm in the rim, and I remember picking up the phone and just dialing people like, did you see what he just did? Because it didn't make any sense. That's the kind of emotion he provoked out of me. But, you know, when you talk about Toronto as a new franchise and trying to really navigate the waters of the NBA, without Vince Carter, that process could have been a lot longer and much more arduous for this franchise.
What's it like for you to see him in the role that he is? Like, it's pretty cool that you guys are both doing the same thing now, you know? And did you think that was going to happen? Did you ever talk about that?
Never. No. And I will say with Vince, when I first took this job, Vince stayed on the phone with me for like, he was working for ESPN.
Yeah.
He stayed on the phone with me for like 2 hours, like telling me how he prepared, just telling me different things about the industry. And then we end up reminiscing. Then we would get back to talking about broadcasting, and that was pretty much the first time we really started catching up. And then during the pandemic, we started talking as well. And I actually talked to him the day he retired from Atlanta Hawks. And he didn't let it out yet, but he told me, he was like, yo, this is my last. And I was like, I should record it and drop it. But yeah, it's great seeing Vince still happy. Like he's still motivated to be great.
Yeah.
So it's a joy to watch, and it's a joy to like be in this part of his career and his life, like a father, and you know, doing all these things, man. It's cool to be a part of it.
I can't believe nobody did the work to find out how many of Vince's buckets this guy assisted on.
Yeah.
Hey,
Probably.
that's busy work.
Probably a lot.
Right, that's busy work.
It's not that busy.
Don't even try it.
No, I don't know. Dead serious.
I told him in that New York Knicks series, when he hit that jump shot from about 19 feet, there's only one person Vince was looking for. His name was A-Dub.
Hey.
I love it.
Lucky.
Let's stop it there. Next game for the Raptors, Saturday against New York Knicks. Tip-off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Raptors Tonight will go live on YouTube shortly after the game. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
You remember that, Paul?